Welcome to another edition of Your Impact Attack. That's right, it's Your Impact Attack. And we are just the curators, but who are we? We're the VBC together again on a Monday night. I'm the V in the VBC, the vet Jamie Williams. With me, as always, my tag team partner, the B in the VBC, Brandon. Brandon, I'm giving you the hot tag, and you're going to come in and hit a fat guy crossbody on some people. Oh, my goodness. What's up?
Not a whole lot, man. Man, that was such a fun Raw. That was such a tremendous Raw. The matches were great tonight. The wrestling was solid. They did great psychology, terrific selling. Everything just flowed and made sense. I was almost
Step
disappointed.
Up your game, TNA.
I was disappointed I had to stop watching and come do the Impact Attack. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Right when Stephanie was coming out. Anyway, we are joined by the C, and that is the chat. The chat is here. They're rocking and rolling. Everybody is just filing in now, taking their seats, and they're ready to hear all about the TNA goodness this week. Who do we have with us, Brandon? It looks like there's more than 4 horse people here, even though there's going to be some horse people later on that we're going to talk about. Literal horse people.
We're starting to get an NWO up in here, pal.
Yeah.
Let's see who we got tonight. We got Lab Rat, we got Liz, we got Javi Uchiha, we got J Hall, we got Frank, we got Dan. How's everybody doing? Good to see y'all again. Whoop, whoop.
All right. If we start adding more people in the chat, it's going to water this chat down. We don't want that. We don't want to lose sight of the original C, you know? But yeah, no, the more the merrier, as always. And we got a lot to talk about, lots to cover, lots of news, lots of stuff, lots of entertainment. So we might as well not waste any more time. Let's kick it off with a bummer, guys. Steven Regal died. No, not that one. Some of you guys may know. Steve Regal, former NWA and AWA tag team champ. He was 73 years old. Passed away today. So this was a guy who worked a lot in the Jim Crockett promotions. Although he did have, I think he did have a little bit of WWE time. He may have showed up in WWE at some point in the late 80s. But yeah, he was a territory guy. NWA, AWA, like I said. He was like, I guess like a junior heavyweight, you would call it. Not quite one of the big dudes, but not quite one of the tiny dudes. But yeah, when they had titles for such things like the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship, the AWA World Light Heavyweight Championship, like he won those. And then the last 7 years of his career, Windy City Pro Wrestling. Yep, Mr. Electricity, Dan, that's him. So, yep. 73, hell of a run. So we've lost a lot of people this year, and the year's not over. But that's a little bit of sad news today. Brandon, you have any Steve Regal memories?
I don't mean to sound like a dick when I say this, but I had no idea there was another Steve Regal until he passed away.
Really? Oh, so you never even knew about just the fact of like, there's a reason why he calls himself William Regal? And
no, I had no idea. I thought it was just like a WWE, WCW trying to market the character thing.
No, Steve Regal and Lord Steven Regal, 2 different people. But yeah. So there's that. And now let's go on to some other stuff. We want to talk about TNA's got a new TV deal. So starting next year, you'll be able to catch total nonstop action on American movie classics. Oh, wait, we don't call it that anymore. It's just AMC. It doesn't have any meaning. It's just 3 letters. Doesn't stand for nothing. Don't worry about it. Don't ask questions. AMC the new home. It's the most high profile home that TNA's had in quite some time. So that's good news for them.
At least 10 years.
Yeah, at the very least. No, I would say it's the most high profile they've ever had. I don't think.
Yeah, because does AMC go into more homes than Spike did?
Yeah.
Okay, so
and
yeah.
back when Spike TV was still a thing, more people were watching AMC in general anyway. More people were just watching cable in general than they are now. But certainly, yeah. So I don't know. It's AMC is like somewhere in the top 50 networks, and that's still better than whatever Access TV is. But basically, what do we know? What do we really know? So we know that so they're going to start January 15th of next year. We know they're going to the 9 to 11 Eastern slot on Thursday so it's a little bit late for some people. It's going to be on the AMC Plus app, but it will also remain on the TNA Plus app. So no need to worry there if you have one and not the other. So apparently, some of this information comes from Fightful Select. Some people may have wondered if this would affect the WWE partnership. But Fightful Select says no. It's not the case. They're going to be working with WWE going forward. So partnership not ending there.
Plus, I'm sure with the partnership, why would WWE not want the opportunity for their NXT talent to get TV time and practice on somebody else's show? I mean,
of course not. Why wouldn't you?
Oh, and by the way, speaking of WWE and picking up talent, Leon Slater being on Saturday Night's Main Event, is that not more of a tell that they clearly won him?
Yeah, I mean, anybody, WWE's still on the lookout for anybody, even though they got more people than they know what to do with now. But I guess they like what they see there, and they see a potential, a future with Javon Evans and him being so young, and having I don't know, whatever, if you want to say chemistry or just whatever, if the booking that they're doing is working right now, then yeah, of course you're going to have your eye on that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. But, so yeah, so that's some stuff. So what do you think about this? Now, this news came this could have came a day earlier, this news, because, we had the Impact attack with not much to talk about last week. So we could have used this back then more so than now when we also have to cover a pay-per-view. But, yeah, what are your thoughts on this overall, going back to when you first heard it?
I'm happy for the wrestling business as a whole, because this is a good thing. Having another promotion with a major TV deal like this is a good thing for the business. That was just the first thing I thought, especially one that has a deal or a cross promotional deal with WWE. It's like what Ben always says: a rising tide lifts all ships, and apparently TNA's tide just rose, and it's hopefully brings up the rest of the wrestler business with it. Granted, it's probably, if it does, probably not going to be much, but better than going backwards.
Sure. AMC itself, if we talk about the channel for a moment, and also they're the ones that own, the theater chain of the same name, so they got that business too. But it did seem to be like, it seems to be a strange home for TNA, because, when I was growing up, AMC was just like, oh yeah, they just show movies on this channel. It's just like it's like an old movie channel, except you know, even though it was on cable, it wasn't like premium cable, so the movies were like censored for time and for content, and you know, like they just it was kind of, you know, just like a normal cable channel. So they would just show movies all the time. And then at some point, like in the 2000s, they started producing original television shows that became major hits, like Breaking Bad, like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, you know, became all big hits for like this channel. So like that was, you know, that was a big kind of boom period for them. Um and then that's all kind of cooled off. Like all that stuff has died. The Walking Dead may still air spin-offs and stuff, but nobody cares about it anymore. It's not like it was like 15 years ago. And now you just add this wrestling company, which is it's not like anything they've ever really had on the channel before, so it is kind of an odd choice, especially just considering the way it's being reported that like they were somewhat aggressively pursuing it. Like, oh yeah, we got to get this TNA signed, you know? So it's just kind of bizarre, but I don't have any more of the information on that. But Frank says Darcy the Mail Girl from Joe Bob's Last Drive will not be happy. She is a huge AEW mark. Well, I mean, AEW is still available to watch. I mean,
They ain't going.
it's not like she's only allowed to watch her channel.
And plus, they're not going anywhere for at least a few years.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting stuff there. Now there's some other things sort of around this, like okay, not that. According to Brian Alvarez, this deal is believed. I love the language. It's very careful language. It's believed to be 3 years. So up till 2029, we may be able to see TNA on AMC. They're still going to be doing like the live and taped formats, you know, that they've been doing, like the mix, allegedly. That they're going to keep doing that. For some reason, it says those within TNA are also under the belief that the company is required to broadcast a certain number of shows live. I don't know why that would need to happen, but in any case, AMC is also definitely not known for their live content. I don't know if they've ever broadcast anything live.
I don't think they have. I think they're trying to get in the game, and this is I think they see this as a good stepping stone to kind of get their feet wet.
Yeah, I guess for cable live content, no matter what it is, has got to be a premium because it's the one thing that they have the advantage over streaming, because when you stream things live, sometimes there's internet issues depending on your quality, depending on the actual streamer itself, like perhaps there's
Depending on the
server
weather.
issues, the weather. There's all kinds of things that can affect those, whereas cable and satellite are a little bit more, well, not as much satellite, but still more than maybe internet sometimes satellite. I remember having a satellite, like I didn't have a satellite, but I stayed someplace as satellite. Anytime there was a strong breeze, it would just fuck everything up. So like you know, but that could have just been my experience. So yeah, uh, having live content is important now. If you're gonna even keep trying to do terrestrial TV and cable TV and stuff like that, you know, it's a dying thing. So live is the one thing that you could say, hey, got to be here now. Don't miss it. Now, TNA, can they deliver? I don't know. None of their live shows have ever, you know, really impressed me to the point where I said, man, I wish this was live every week. Live zombie feedings. They could have done the Talking Dead live if they wanted to, but there's maybe that was live because it would usually air right after the episode, but they could still tape it. It's not like they needed it to be live. But I don't know. So yeah, so there's that. Now, there's also a according to Dave Meltzer, a WWE source has indicated that TNA wants AJ Styles to compete on the first episode of Impact on AMC because they want a strong rating. So,
Well, we'll see what W says to that. I would have to think them bringing Leon Slater to Saturday's main event. I would assume that, at least based on that, that they're open to something like that. Or maybe that could have been kind of the deal. Hey, we want Leon Slater on Saturday's main event, and we'll give you AJ Styles. But then,
yeah, just you really see that happening? Like, maybe,
yeah,
maybe.
it's one of those things where it's like, wait a minute. As I'm saying this and thinking it, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
We're not giving you no Leon Slater. You're gonna have to cough up AJ Styles if you want this guy. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, where do you slot him? Well, it's gonna be the normal time slot of 9 to on Thursday from 9 to 11 p.m. East Coast. Charles, I guess is what they're saying.
Yeah, I think
So
they're
we'll
like
see if they do that.
yeah, kind of the OG, their OG Spike TV Thursday night slot.
But why 9? What does AMC usually air at 8 on Thursday? Does anybody know? Frank, do you know? Frank was saying that Talking Dead was live. I don't know because I never watched it, so thanks for clarifying that. And so yeah, so maybe AJ Styles will be on that. Something to look forward to. Fightful Select is also reporting that a lot of TNA talent is working without a contract right now, or their contracts are coming up soon. So, for example, we've talked about Myron Reed and Killa Kelly. You know, they're both working without deals right now. Don't keep doing that, guys. Get your money.
And especially, well, I don't know if you heard the same thing I heard about how a lot of the talents who are working on handshake deals and haven't renewed their contracts yet, we're waiting to see if like a TV deal is going to be formally announced. So I'm guessing we'll probably start hearing stories about people re-signing or them signing new talent, or some new talent debuting, as we saw at Final Resolution, which we'll get to later.
Mm-hmm. So also Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel their contracts are supposed to expire in December, so maybe at the end of December. Desmond Xavier doesn't have a contract right now. This is all just being reported. I'm not stating a fact. Apparently, so also Burt Macklin, AJ Francis, Jody Threat, Jake Something, and Mustafa Ali are coming to an end on all their contracts. So, yeah. We don't know.
That would actually be that's a great idea. If they're on AMC, Toni Storm would be a good get, but unfortunately, I think how long is she with AEW for?
Probably forever. And they got Turner Classic Movies, so she can do her gimmick with them. Or whatever her gimmick is these days. Who knows anymore? So that's basically, I mean, as of right now, that's kind of all the news surrounding the TNA AMC deal that we have. And not much of it is solid, but it's a few interesting talking points, I guess. So, yeah, I guess we'll see what this does for TNA. TV deals still have that air of legitimacy. Like they bring hey, we're on TV, So, but at the same time, like when you actually look at who's actually watching it, it's markedly less and less people as time goes on. So, any final thoughts on TNA on AMC?
Happy for it and see where it goes. Considering also too some TNA connections with JCW and plus with the whole Walking Dead. What are the chances we might see the Outbreak appear on TNA Impact?
My goodness. It's something to think about. But then again, I have to ask about, are those connections like somewhat tenuous because, there is heat between WWE and people that work at JCW without having to name anybody.
That's a good question. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't take that factor out of it, especially with like Triple H at the helm of WWE.
Yeah. Which is too bad because, like, if only it's funny that it's fun it's funny that the WWE's been in Vegas, last year and this year, and we've definitely got the Vegas theme and the gambling and stuff. Because I think, like, as the way things have played out, like, if only someone hadn't gone all in and put all in their chips in completely targeting and bashing Triple H and WWE on that table, like, maybe it could have been easier business relations for a lot of people. But, sometimes foresight isn't people's strong suit, even when it really should be as part of their skill set. So, with that being said, is there anything else that we need to talk about before we get to covering these shows, these premium events, or?
No, I think we should be good. We got the major stuff out of the way.
We didn't get any Chris Winland questions sneaking in at the last second, did we?
Nah, no sign of Chris Winland this week. Where you at, pal? Where you been?
All right. Well, let's start with the episode of Impact. And it appears that, yes, AMC is in the air tonight.
Come on, hold on.
Yeah, not the real one, not the Phil Collins one. This cover version they had, and the TNA box is back. Speaking of where you been, remember that box that was full of TNA when they dragged it out of the river that time? When it was still called Impact, and then they opened the chest and it was TNA inside. Well, it's back.
I think they're going to keep that as a long-time plot device. Because remember, they actually brought it, the go-home show to Slammiversary. It made a comeback there, and then it opened up and had all the AJ Styles stuff in it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's like a character on the show now. Yeah, the TNA box. You don't know about the TNA box? Oh, Jerome, come on. You got to know about the TNA box. You're a long-time listener. Well, you probably forgot. But that's okay. Yeah. You gotta Google TNA box. I think. Well, actually, I don't know if that. I don't Google that. As a matter of fact, as I say that out loud, I realize don't Google that. But yeah. So that's this sort of like big promo that they start the show with. Then they do the ketchup packet, which we haven't had a ketchup packet in a while. It seems like. And we're starting out our show with a nice match. It's Big Jack Perry with Brian Pillman Jr. versus Hometown Man. And oh boy, let me tell you. So this is Bull Buchanan's kid. If you weren't aware of that, anybody wasn't aware of that. I called him Big Jack Perry. It's a running gag. It's Brooks Jensen. So I don't know what this kid is doing. I don't know what he's been doing. I've never understood him. I don't know if he's cut out for this. And after watching this, I'm still definitely not sure he's cut out for this. He won the match with some kind of like a. It looked like it was supposed to be like a rolling, like a kick, like a leg lariat or that move that Owen Hart used to do, like the
spinning wheel kick.
Spinning wheel kick. Looked like that, but it only got up to about like the hip level of Hometown Man, and So Brian Pillman Jr. grabbed Hometown Man's leg and caused just enough of a distraction for Jensen to awkwardly tumble into Hometown Man for the win. This better not be on AMC. None of these people better be on AMC. I'm just saying. Yeah, any thoughts on this?
Nah. Just house show match. Bad house show match.
The Rascals are at 125% now. I don't know. That's just some Steiner math. I couldn't.
Steiner probably stopped at the treehouse a little bit and then left.
They're at 132%. Because there's usually 3 Rascals, and each Rascal would add up to 33 1/3%. So if you add a 4th Rascal, that brings the total up to 133 1/3%. I don't know.
I'm just thinking it'd be funny. I'm just thinking how funny it would be if we actually ever got a segment of Scott Steiner hanging with the Rascals in the treehouse, and then do this and go in Steiner math.
It would probably just end up sad and awkward. But they discuss old working names and Order 4 and some other stuff. The only thing I liked about this, because I hate this shit. It's not funny. That 70s show isn't funny. These guys aren't funny. TNA isn't funny. Nothing's funny. But one little bit of funny thing was, I think, as Zachary Wentz said it, was when he was talking about the great hands, Skylar and Hotch, or as I call them, before and after. So I thought that was, they snuck that in and I caught that. So that was funny. Did you find anything funny in this?
I kind of popped a little bit of them ribbon on Desmond Xavier, Wesley Dame, and them kind of goofing on the storyline. Like, dude, you kicked me in the balls like several times.
Yeah. Yeah. What else can you do? What else can you do but laugh at it? It's all a joke. It's all a rib. Everything's a rib. Somehow less of a rib than this, the Inspiration. They're just playing it relatively straight as baby faces, and they're in the ring for a little chat, and Victoria and Tessa come out, and they make a challenge for final resolution, and then Mila Moore jumps the Inspiration, and they try to get some heat on the Inspiration, but the Inspiration just bows up and cleans house on them.
Yeah, great job of getting heat on the heels right there. 3-on-2.
I'm thinking the heels win at the pay-per-view with that, but we'll see. We got a big TNA versus NXT main event. Well, it's not even, they're NXT, I guess, but they're like the rogue NXT. They're the invading NXT. They're not being acknowledged by NXT. NXT is not engaging this storyline. They're not playing along on their half of the show. Like, they don't really care about it. So it's not a lot of cooperation and synergy there, but
yeah, where's Jordan Grace like getting up in some of the I'm just using her as an example because of her time in TNA. Why is she not saying anything about this? Hey, like, we're supposed to be a partnership, we're working together. Why are you guys going over there and attacking them? I came from there. Something like that. Something.
Anything. No, not much. Unless you see Ariana with Stacks on NXT, that's like the only connection to any of this. It's not like they're gonna let Robert Stone back on. Uh, so or maybe they are, and I'm just not paying attention. Look, it's hard to watch NXT sometimes. I make my notes, but I mean, I don't recall seeing Robert Stone lately, but maybe he was there. I don't know anymore. I can't remember anything. But Santino's hyping up Team TNA here for this main event. Okay, he's giving them the pep talk. Okay, and then we get the NXT. Speaking of NXT, we get the NXT catch-up packet, and so we get we get that. Then we get a number one contenders match for the Knockouts Championship. It's Danny Luna versus Xia Brookside.
This is the match I was telling you about that I thought was, for the most part, was pretty good. Both women did a good job of working, selling, and psychology. But then once we got to the comeback, it turned into the old Seth Rollins. Oh, I started doing stuff, and then I just kind of sell the knee, and then yeah.
Yeah, you did tell me that. You did tell me you did put the match over. You did say they had a nice match, and
except for that stuff.
Yeah, except for that stuff, and I was like, well, I'll kind of want to watch it, I guess, since you gave me a heads up on it, and then I was watching it, and I was like, I can't watch this match. But I will say, even without fully investing in the match, like I could tell that it was different than normal. I could tell that they weren't just going to their next spot, and they were taking their time, and they were doing things right. I'm, like I could get that even without the full, experience. So, I'll give them credit for that.
Yeah, problem was, I think they were just given way too much time than they needed, and they were trying to figure out what they could do to fill it.
Well, it's a match that has some stakes on it. It's kind of important. So, but what ends up happening is, so Danny goes outside and she's gonna get her chain or whatever, and Indy Hartwell comes down and takes the chain and gives Danny a chain punch, and the way the referee was positioned, and this referee, you can guess who it is. She was positioned in such a way that she definitely could have seen out of her peripheral vision that Indy was punching Danny Luna with a chain, but she just chose not to see it and to just be checking on Xia Brookside for some strange reason for a very long time instead of, I don't know, going over to count out the person that's outside of the ring illegally. But that's the spot, so that's what we're doing. And Indy rolls Danny Luna in, and Xia Brookside gets the win. So tag team partners gonna face off.
Maybe, yeah, that was kind of predictable. And 1 sec, Doggo wants in. He'll be right back.
All right. So while so Xia Brookside does the small package and then gets the win, and then the other Xia, the original Xia was watching. And she says that she's very happy and proud of her partner, and she's happy to face her partner, and they're going to prove why they're the Angel Warriors and some other stuff that she says. And I'm just kind of, vamping until Brandon gets back here because I did want to... Hartwell got to stop interfering in people's matches. She's just a thug, Lab Rat, She's just a thug. Where did she learn that? It's been all that time she spent around Austin Theory and old shark-eyed Johnny Gargano and the Kroger cashier. That's probably who taught her this. But yeah. So we're gonna get a match of the Xias at Final Resolution for the TNA Knockouts Championship, and we're very excited about that. I also don't want to move on quite yet because of the gimmick injury report coming up. We wouldn't want Brandon to miss the gimmick injury report, but he's back just in time. I was going to say, Brandon, how messed up is it that they have a current girl named Zaya and a girl that used to be Zaya, and they have the white girl is the current Zaya instead of the Chinese girl. One of you guys gets to keep your name.
That's got to be a rib. Hold on, I'm gonna Wikipedia real quick here. Okay, so yeah, they're both shoot named Zaya. Okay, so why don't you go with Lei Ying Li's shoot name? Zaya's is Zaya Brookside's shoot name, and just Team Zaya.
Yeah, it's got to be. Why not? There could be two people named Zaya. Anyway, yeah, name on a poll. White Rice, perfect name. No, not Angel Warriors. Forget that. That's stupid. Who wants to hear that? White Rice. That's what's up. So,
I'm sorry, huge pop.
That's a Hall of Fame comment, J Hall. So yeah. So on that note, it's time for the gimmick injury report. I didn't want to go into it without you, so I was waiting for you to get back. So Mike Santana has got that torn UCL, that pesky torn UCL. And he's cleared. He's cleared. It's fine. You don't need a tendon to wrestle. Keeping in mind that, as I pointed out, I tore something in my bicep like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. It's still bothering me sometimes. So, but he's good. Tessa Blanchard had an upper body injury. Just the whole thing, everything from the waist up. Stomach, titties, arms, hands, neck, head. She's cleared, though. She's cleared for a competition now. She'll be all right. You don't need an upper body to wrestle. You really don't. You just need a good pair of legs. That's all you need. And Indy Hartwell, she was suffering from a contusion. Now, if anybody doesn't know, Brandon, a contusion is a fancy word for what?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I want to say bruise.
Ding, 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 ding. You are correct, sir. A contusion is a bruise. With bruising is such a popular injury in the gimmick injury report, I was surprised they decided to fancy it up a bit. And that's going to get funnier later because we're not done with injury reports. We have a pay-per-view.
And more points to J Hall. More points to J Hall.
Oh, my left tit is sore. Only the left one. Well, anyway, India's cleared of her contusion. And Zach Wentz and Desmond Xavier are also both suffering upper body injuries. It's got 3 people who are, my whole upper body, guys. I can't. But they're cleared. Everybody's cleared. So nobody's out here. We got upper bodies, contusions, and a torn UCL, but they're all cleared and good to go. So there you go. We'll see if anybody gets sued, going forward. Next is Robert Stone. For some reason, decides to take it upon himself to go head-to-head with Mike Santana. And he actually gets a short flurry in before he's murdered. And Mike grabs the mic to let everybody know that Poppy's home. This was exactly pretty much what it should have been. Even you could argue that Robert Stone got too much offense, but it didn't. The match didn't last much longer once the bell rang.
it should have been a squash. Like, this is what it needed to be.
Yeah. You really would have made Mike Santana look, well, worse than he has if you were to try to make this do any kind of time. Kazarian cuts a promo on the audacity of JDC to not only announce he's retiring, but then to ask for a title shot. So, and he's, basically saying he's not a star. Then we get a first class penthouse. And it's kind of a cheap looking penthouse. I mean, they've got the table in there and they've got one like 8x10 of AJ's new album, whatever that is. It's just really gross looking. It's just him in a pool, like, I don't think anybody wants to see that. I don't know how many copies that's going to sell.
We outside.
Yeah, we outside. And there's 2 glasses. They don't have like the champagne on ice or any of that other, dressing that they normally have. They just have 2 like tumblers. Okay. So the guest is Leon Slater. And the reason that there's 2 glasses and one of them has liquid in it and the other one doesn't. And he gives Leon the empty glass because he's making the joke that he's not old enough to drink. So there's nothing in his glass. And then it gets physical. And then AJ wants Rich Swann to help him beat the shit out of Leon Slater. And Rich Swann doesn't want to do it. But AJ does end up giving him the down payment and puts his foot on his chest and holds the belt. He does the deadly belt hold. Belt hold not as effective when you're not the champion, but it still maybe has a little bit of effect. Why was this penthouse so poor?
I guess he didn't sell as many copies of the albums as he thought he was going to.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Hot wine. No wonder first class has 0 stars. Exactly that, right? Yeah. Warm wine, no ice. It's a scent house, not a penthouse. Yeah. These are all true things. The system has a meeting about finding a new member to replace the JDC. Well, you don't really need to replace him because he was an add-on in the first place. But
yeah, didn't they do an angle where he got to prove himself and then they accepted him?
Yes, they did. Who says they don't do memorable storylines in TNA? So JDC has a response for the promo that Kazarian cut earlier. So I don't like. I'm not gonna, nor could I, recount what he said in this promo. It's not something that I could just tell you what he said and you would get it. You would have to see him say the promo. But when I'm watching him do these promos, and I've liked this guy for a long time. I remember when he was just Johnny Curtis wrestling on like Velocity and his catchphrase was "Let's get weird." Like he was trying to get that over like a long time ago. Before he was ever Fandango, before there was ever the Fashion Files or any of that stuff. He was just some guy wrestling on the WWE's B shows and C shows and D shows.
The first thing I remembered about him was that he, after he like won NXT and he was doing these vignettes or pre-tapes where he's announcing his debut or when he was coming, like he would always like act out these puns like, "Oh, don't cry over spilled milk," then he'd spill milk over his head. And then say the writing is on the wall, and then the camera panned to the wall where it's written like Johnny Curtis debuts this day.
Yeah. That was probably some idiot's idea because it seems like he would have known better than that,
Well, he's still probably young in the business at that point.
Yeah, well, of course. But I mean, he always had a little something. But I was just never, it was the presentation has always been joking and comedic of some fashion. Like he's slightly off. Like no matter what he's doing has always been a comedy element to it. But watching this promo, it makes me think of like, you know, what could have been if this guy was just a serious wrestler. Like he might have actually been like a real money wrestler to be taken seriously. You know, like I believe that he could get this shit over. He was a Dusty Boy. I don't know. What did you think of him, Charles? Because watching this promo, it made me like reflect on his entire career and think of like what were we missing, or were we missing anything? Did everything go the way it was supposed to go? Um but like could he have been taken more seriously and been a much bigger star in this business? I don't know. What did you think if you remember this promo, or he even did another one, you know, like on the actual Final Resolution too. But yeah, he's not like doing wrestler promo. He's not yelling. There was even a part where like in the middle of the promo, like a motorcycle went by and he worked that into the promo where he was saying like, we're not going to go again. We're not going to cut and go again.
Hey, I'm walking here. I'm walking here.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, always comedy. Loved to joke around. Was he a good dude? It seems to be like a good guy. I just felt like, yeah, there was always something about him. I don't know, but anyways, I thought he did a good promo here. If he wanted to be serious, but the next match is Mustafa Ali versus Trey Miguel. And after Ali takes every move in the world from Trey and kicks out, he puts the sharpshooter on and beats him. So, I guess he hadn't fully recovered from those upper body injuries. Oh, man.
It was what it was. I mean, Ali and Trey, what do you expect? And that's what you got.
That's what we get. All right, so our main event is the big eight-man tag of NXT versus TNA. It's Pillman Jr., Stax, and In the Mud versus the Hardys, Burt, and Cedric. Whatever about this, I wasn't going to pay attention to it. Junior nails Burt with a cane head, and Stax falls on top. And we go off the air. Santino's glaring at these guys celebrating in the ring. Preview of things to come. You'll just have to stay tuned and find out with our Final Resolution review coming up right now. But yeah, did this give you did this go home show get you properly hyped for this Final Resolution off No Build?
Not really, no.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
Yeah, I didn't think so. All right, but we're here now. Maybe the pre-show will have a chance to get you hyped up for the to buy the pay-per-view. You're sitting there, you're on the fence, you don't know. Like, I don't know, should I spend money on a TNA show? I don't know. Maybe this pre-show will help me decide. And you have Cedric versus Eric Young. Cedric Alexander versus Eric Young to start with.
Whoopee. I didn't see any pre-show, sorry.
Did these guys have something going into the... I don't remember them interacting.
I don't think so either. This is probably something that's thrown together.
All right, so Charles is saying that Johnny had that babyface fire and he was cool, but he played grab ass with Shawn Spears on the regular. Oh, well, too much. I see. Yeah. Well, it was a weird time. You know, it was a weird time, and I don't mean I'm not talking about the grab ass. I'm talking about the politics of the locker rooms around that time were so weird. You know, even though I wasn't there, I could feel it from where I was. So, you know, having people like Hammer around that were there kind of corroborates the stuff I've always suspected. Well, anyway, Cedric hits a brainbuster and beats Eric Young. So there you go. Gia finds Leon Slater. And you know what? You know what has made a comeback? And I think that we should probably do something about this before they make their debut on AMC, is that we might need to bring back the hashtag
Turn off the lights
campaign, because oh my God, that was really gross on this Final Resolution show. There's, in this scene with Gia and Leon Slater, it was very garish looking, reddish, pinkish hues, like gradation across the walls. Like, I just didn't. It's gross. It's gross looking. But Leon Slater says AJ's gonna get what's coming his way, and then that YouTube guy whose name is Initials also said that he had his back.
Give me BDE, pal.
BDE, yeah. I wanted to say it was something like BTE, but then I was like, no, that's the Young Bucks thing.
Heard about this? Apparently, iShow Speed is training to wrestle.
Oh no, it's Riyadh season, pal. He's gonna be in the Rumble. What are you talking about? The system. You know the system. This is where they're relegated to. Is a pre-show match. They get a little promo. And I'll tell you something. Lish is not Cody Rhodes. She's not even Vicky Guerrero. So do you want to know something doesn't get a babyface reaction? Oh, yeah. This has to be, that's match of the night. Lab Rat knows me so well. So scouting season begins for the system. They're looking for a new member. But I guess they're going to scout by example and have a match against some mystery opponents. And the mystery opponents are CW and Brock Anderson. That's right. CW Anderson from ECW. Brock Anderson from, I guess, AEW. And also from AEW, Bear Bronson.
Brock Anderson, straight from Arn's loins, pal.
Armed Anderson. So yeah. To think what Moose once was. And then the pre-show against randoms. Should we have a final? Should we have a moment of silence for Moose's career?
Well, I think. How long is his deal? And when did he sign it?
Till he's 55 years old. I don't know.
You know, at 55, he still got a shot for a WWE run.
Yeah. I mean, he still looks as young as he ever did, so that's not really the issue. The problem is you can only endure so much of this booking, you know? But I also don't, like I've said this before, I also don't like house show babyface Moose.
It's not him. It doesn't work. It's just he's trying too hard.
Yeah.
It's clearly trying to play a character.
Yeah. Yeah. And also you have a match with a moose and a bear. And you would think that the idea would be, if you even cared about Bear Bronson at all, like this is his, I guess his TNA debut, right? Like he hasn't appeared before this.
You build to the Hoss spot with him and Moose just going at it.
Right. Or you don't, and during the opening part before the cutoff, you just have Fat Myers bump Bear Bronson. It's fine. Anyway, whatever. This match sucked. System overload to Brock Anderson, and we're done. Sad. But at least we're now at the final resolution proper. So here we go. We're kicking it off with Mike Santana versus Charlie Dempsey. The old Charlie Dempsey.
Which he's very much, when in the ring, he is his father's son. He's every bit like the worker his dad was, maybe even a little bit better.
Wow, really? You think so, huh?
Then again, it might have been me being shocked of when I saw that match with him and Tavion Heights, how believable he made everything look. His psychology was on point. His selling was on point. Even on the offense, his selling was on point.
Wow. Man, am I going to have to start paying attention to Charlie Dempsey matches? Because I wrote him off months, if not years ago.
His match with Tavion Heights really opened my eyes up to him.
All right. Well, what about this one?
It was all right.
Well, we know he's just getting fed.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, we've seen Mike Santana go through entire factions of people by himself. They're just repeating the story. So there really wasn't any reason to get emotionally invested into it.
Nope, there sure isn't. And he sure did lose to the spin the block, and that's that. So Kaz with Gia and no music underneath.
Which I'm gonna add this because with the kind of worker that Charlie Dempsey is, and the training, and with him with Dad being who he is, why didn't they tell the story of going after targeting that injured arm and trying to break it so he can't use to spin the block, and then Mike Santana through again the baby face pulling through hits the spin the block after getting it worked over.
They didn't do that?
Oh, they did? Sorry, I'm tripping.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I've seen so much shit.
Yeah, we can't keep track of all this stuff. I assume he did at least some arm work, but I mean, that's the other thing too. Like, if this guy's already got an injured arm, it's a catch-22. If you don't do it, you look stupid for not going after his injured arm. If you do it and you go after his injured arm and he beats you anyway, you look weak. There's really no way out of a situation like this. So,
other than the babyface somehow finding a way to overcome and defeat the heel, but the heel still looks, weak for getting beat by a guy who basically had one arm.
Yeah, I mean, and he uses the arm anyway in the finish. So it's like, if he came up with a different finish to beat him,
that'd have been something. Okay, that's different.
But he's not. So, yeah, that's the other deal. It's just, nobody knows how to do the psychology. Even when they try to have psychology, it's only like half-assed psychology. So, yeah. And it's different too, like when you just have any old heel, right? Like, oh, I'm going to attack an injured body part because I'm a heel and that's what I do, and, whatever. But when you have a heel that's specialty is like catch wrestling and manipulating body parts in the first place, like that's your whole thing.
Like, yeah.
So like if Charlie Dempsey was facing like a gigantic guy, like a Agent Zero or something, and Agent Zero just powered through everything he did, that's a story you could tell. But like when the guy's already hurt and he's not particularly, imposing, then if you can't do the one thing you can do, it's a bad look for you.
Right, exactly. Like that should have been Charlie Dempsey. If again, I don't remember the match off the top of my head, but if that was not the story, Dempsey going after that injured arm and trying to hurt it even more, then what are we even doing here?
What are we doing? We're going to the back with Frankie Kazarian and Gia and no music underneath. He cuts a promo on JDC in the way that only Frankie Kazarian can. I'm sure that he learned that from Killer Kowalski. So next is Ash by Elegance on commentary for the Knockouts Tag Team Championship match. It's the Inspiration versus Victoria Crawford and Tessa Blanchard. Elegance brand is backstage watching very carefully. It's the former champions. I'm sure they like to have another shot. Well, all kinds of shenanigans happened in this match, including Victoria trying to use the championship belt as a weapon, and the Elegance brand coming out to try to interfere, but the Inspiration powered through all of that, hit the Idolizer on Victoria Crawford, and retained the Knockouts Championship. What do you think of these amazing, inspirational wrestlers?
Very inspirational, pal. Overcame the odds.
That's right. Never give up. Gimmick injury report, part 2.
Again.
That's right.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. So Santana has a torn UCL. You may have heard that. His status now, though, is undetermined. So I guess Charlie Dempsey did a number on it in that match. Must have. Because the gimmick injury report seems to think that it's in doubt whether he's healthy. Right? Yeah. Yeah, UCL, ulterior cruciate ligament. It's in his bicep. He tore his bicep is what happened. I'll just say it like that. Okay, Leon Slater. He's got some bruising.
But he's clear, though.
He's cleared. He's cleared. Hey, look, he's got a title match tonight. Can't let a bruise get in the way of being a great champion. Danny Luna, though, has a contusion. You know, from the chain punch to the face. That's different than bruising. But she has a contusion. And she's out. She's out. Sorry. I know you had hopes for Danny Luna appearing. She's out. She can't compete. I'm sorry. Matt Cardona. He's got a contusion himself. Not to be left out of the contusion party. He's cleared, though. His contusion, not serious. Danny Luna's contusion, dead serious. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Yeah. Fire the Sand Doctor. Yes. It's amazing. I love it. It's my favorite part of the Impact Attack and TNA in general.
The Dr. Zahorian they got on staff?
Could be.
And sorry, Doggo once in again. Be right back. Sorry.
All right. So, Ariana Grace tells Dad that she's her own person, and what happens on NXT and what happens with her and Stacks at home has nothing to do with her. Just because she's gonna marry this fucking guy doesn't mean that she knows what he's doing or is actually taking part in anything that he's got going on with his whole invading TNA thing and all that stuff. She's innocent. She's completely innocent. So, then we get, all right. So as Brandon rejoins us, I have a question here. I was just saying how Ariana Grace is basically saying, "Hey, don't look at me. I'm just going to marry the guy, to Santino." Yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah, she definitely, she's the first suspect I have of who this rat is in this whole thing. She's top of my list right now.
And also when Santino walked away after she assured him that she had nothing to do with it, she did one of these.
So she's playing daddy.
I hope he doesn't go back and watch this. See that she made a face. All right. Mance Warner versus Matt Cardona in a street fight. We're not done. We got to settle this once and for all. Guess what? Kendo stick immediately. So disavowed. I don't have to watch this. I don't have to review this. Brandon, tell the people what happened in Mance Warner versus Matt Cardona in a street fight.
I didn't catch a whole lot of it. I spent more time chatting with the chat than actually watching the match.
I see.
And Kevin Murray in the house, he thinks Santino is the mole. He's working everybody.
Why would he do such a thing? You're making me so mad.
To help his daughter and future son-in-law.
Help him do what?
I don't know. I'm expecting them to figure that out. I'm not.
What do these guys? What do the NXT guys get by invading TNA? There's nothing. That's punching down. Like, what do you, you guys already are all signed to the WWE. Why are you coming over here to this Bush League operation and kicking in the door? You just look like bullies. That's like going to the trailer at the back of the school and picking on the short bus kids. For what? Anyway. So nobody knows what happened with Cardona and Warner. All right, well, that's fine. Do you remember who won at least?
I think it was Warner.
Wow.
Let me double check.
Mance Warner has a win over the JCW champion.
Yeah, I'm pulling the .NET report real quick.
All right. Well, while you're looking at that, JDC does a promo.
No,
and,
it was Cardona. Cardona who won.
Oh, all right. Sorry, you don't get it wasn't a JCW title eliminator match. Sorry, Mance Warner. You don't get a shot now. So JDC, not JCW, JDC does another promo, and I'm just thinking the same thing I thought. What serious, like, what a serious career for him could have been. What could we have gotten? We'll never know now. Our next match is Stax with Pillman Jr. in his corner versus Burt Macklin. The cane comes into play again. So we got a nice combo of Pillman Jr. with the cane and Stax getting a pin. And Stax becomes your new international whatever champion.
TNA International Champion, Val. Which, to be fair, in his promos, Macklin, as champion, stated like this is a belt that's kind of defended, across the board. However, we've also seen Kalani Jordan as TNA Knockouts Champion, and JC Jane as TNA Knockouts Champion, and Trick Williams as TNA Champion. So, like, what are we doing here?
This is absolutely disgusting. Like, the idea of Stax beating anybody for anything is just, why would anybody want this? This isn't heat. It's just like, it's blatant pushing booking in the fans' faces. Like, I think the fans of wrestling spend a good majority of their time trying to ignore the booking and try to enjoy the show, like Triple H tells them to. And it's getting harder and harder to do that, because it's one thing when you book a show that presents itself as like, okay, this is a sports thing, this is a card, this is the matches, this is the lineup, these are the people. You pick your favorites, you cheer, you boo, you da-da-da-da-da. And whoever wins is kind of supposed to be a surprise. Like, that's why you watch. You watch the contest so you can enjoy the outcome. This is just them blatantly, like, rubbing it in. Like, yeah, we're gonna, like, you're just TNA, and we can do whatever we want, and we'll take a guy that's been your world heavyweight champion and is now also this other champion, and we'll take some scrub that should have been released years ago, and we'll put him over on your guy that also used to be our guy, but never mind that.
That Labrat had a great idea right there. That could have been Tricks instead of Stacks, because that would have been a good way. Like if you don't have any spot for him in the main roster yet, that's something for Trick to do. In the meantime, have him go take that title to AAA to defend at NXT, take it over to Noah.
So Trig Williams will take a step down and win this secondary belt, just like
Burt Macklin.
Yeah. I don't. I can't tell these guys what to do with all their talent. The only thing I can tell them is what not to do, and what you don't do is you don't put Stacks over anybody. The Hardys are with Gia, no music underneath. And I believe that the phrase NXT jobbers came out of Matt Hardy's mouth. Did I imagine that?
There's a chance I might have missed that, but I could definitely see Matt Hardy saying that.
Okay. Well, keep that in mind, even though one of them just won a belt. Okay. Next is the Zaya versus Zaya match. And yeah, it's just a regular babyface match, nothing special. And it shouldn't have been anything special because there's only so much you could do in a babyface match with friends and tag team partners and have it still make sense. You know, if this match took place in AEW and they were best friends and partners, they'd be giving each other like Canadian destroyers off the apron onto the concrete floor to try to kill each other, you know. But here they just did a normal, they just did a normal match. So Zaya won. I mean, Lei Ying Lee version won.
The OG.
Yeah. The announcer just said, a swinging face buster. So she doesn't even have like a cool name or like it's not like a pun or anything. It's just swing face buster. And then after the match, Gia gets a word. And so she's interviewing Lei Ying Lee, and Lei Ying Lee's just saying, all the nice baby face things. And then Danny Luna attacks with her contusion. And Indy Hartwell attacks. And then security attacks. And we get a big schmoz pull apart.
Oh, yeah. OG Zia Lee money, triple OG. Sorry. So we just watched Friday After Next last night. So that's, anytime I hear OG, that kind of started getting, that scene starts clicking in my head. Nah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Triple OG, triple.
Yeah. Nothing like a move's name like Hertz Donut. Yeah. She hasn't come up with anything yet.
The first time I ever heard that pun was on the episode of Doug where the bully Roger was forced to face off with the Principal Bones' nephew, who's even bigger bully than Roger, and all of a sudden turned into like Doug's like, oh shit, I got to team up with Roger to beat this guy.
Really? Doug Funny said, oh shit, on a children's cartoon?
Well, not really, but that was
metaphorically
speaking, yes.
Yeah. All right. So the NXT jobbers celebrate with Stacks, and they're bathed in the just most disgusting of lights. It's absolutely awful. It's horrible. Order 4 versus Rascals. This was basically just another thing of like, hey, look what Agent Zero can do, right? I mean, isn't that basically what this is about?
Yeah, basically a showcase for Agent Zero while the Order 4 went down in defeat.
Yeah, and I'll give him, I'll give him that, he's impressive and they do a good job of showcasing him, and the crowd scene's into it. And there were some big spots in this match too, like when Myron Reed came off with that cutter and knocked everybody down, and shit like that. But nothing could top. Yeah, speaking of horses, Lab Rat. Speaking of horses,
Points.
nothing could top Elijah coming out on a horse, lassoing Ali, and dragging him backstage
In the most safest produced shot way possible. Okay, we're tying you off, and then we're going offset. Just trotting offset.
Yeah. What did you think of that? Did you like the Did you like the horse spot? The Red Dead Redemption bounty spot?
I like the thought process. I just think they could have done a lot more with it. Like, for example, like after the match aired, you could have easily shot something where you see Elijah riding a horse off like into the sunset with a dummy, or the dummy that has like limbs attached to it, like actually that flop and flail when you drag it. And then it's made it look like it's Ali, so you can think, okay, he's actually riding off with this guy out in the sunset.
Yeah. Yeah, TNA hasn't had a filmed crime in a while, so.
And plus, they just got some TV rights deal, media rights deal money they can start up their production values with.
That's right. Well, they're going to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico soon,
Get me Heisenberg, pal.
That's right. Little crystal blue persuasion, huh?
Peaches on the rooftop.
So, anyway, everyone hits their moves and beats Fat John Schuyler, and there you go. So everybody's happy. Now, the opposite of everybody's happy is the next match. In the Mud versus the Hardys. Now, In the Mud, of course, is my name that I've jokingly given to Tyson and Tyreek.
Which to me, that's one of the biggest pieces of evidence that there are some stooges watching this show, because that's now their tag team name. Come on.
Is it their tag team name?
They were referred to as In the Mud on NXT TV. I will not forget that.
Well, there was Out the Mud.
Or Out the Mud, sorry.
Yeah, well, Out the Mud was the tag team that came along first, and then these guys came along next, and I called them In the Mud because they had not gotten out the mud, because there was already a team doing what they were doing, wearing like jeans and boots, like the lugs boots look.
Boot of the week.
Yeah, Lugs boot of the week, and yeah. So
speaking of lugs, have you ever heard Tommy Blotcha tell the stories about how they on his podcast about how they'd actually have a lugs like truck or like a van at the venues and give out, and they'd give like lugs boots out to the boys and staff in office?
No. You lost me at Tommy Blotcha. But when you say they drove that was like a one-time thing, they drove the lugs truck and gave away shoes, or they gave it to everybody every week, every time?
I wouldn't say every week, but there was at least a period where they were there. At least a window where they were there.
Ah, yes, a window. All right. So anyway, Tyson and Tyreek, right? Now these guys, okay, well, before the match starts, the lights go out, and then this message appears on the screen that says, "The gods walk among mortals." And you're like, what the hell does that mean? Well, you don't have to wait too long to find out, but you're going to be just as sad as if you had to wait a long time. So, anyways, they start having this match. And this match was so bad it was worse than anything that was on Raw tonight earlier than we were watching. It was definitely worse than that. It didn't have as many. They didn't mess up as many physical spots as they did in the War Raiders versus AJ and Dragon Lee, but it was just such a bad match, and it just exposed everybody. It exposed, Tyson and Tyreek as being green, which of course they are, so it's not like really exposing it. But if the Hardys are calling themselves the greatest tag team of all time,
shouldn't they be covering that?
You should know how to work with anybody at this point, regardless. And if you know these guys can't do anything, then you have a nice, simple match just to get it out of the way.
I'm not saying this to put myself over, but I'm saying this, but this is an example of how the business is supposed to work. I will never ever forget that one of the guys who was on main indie promotion I wrestled for, one of the guys on the roster happened to be like a dude who was a main organizer for a smallish Comic Con or media or Nerd Con or whatever you want to call it. And he managed to work with them to get our promotion, our home promotion, to do a one night show during the convention. This guy specifically asked for me to work with him. Because the reason is because I had no problem saying this. I feel like I was kind of like the Brooklyn Brawler a little bit, at least for that promotion, where I was the guy they could trust, where, okay, make him look good, bump and sell, and get him over. So we had the match at that show and ended up being a pretty good match. And I'll never forget people pulling me aside and being like, dude, you actually made him look good. So what I'm trying to get to is the mentality should be, okay, workers who know they're not that good, they should be getting with guys and with guys like the Hardys who would make them look good, cover their weaknesses. Like we need to see more of that in the business instead of just what we saw.
Well, the Hardys at this point are the ones that need their weaknesses covered, even though it shouldn't be like that.
And you're not going to do that. You're not going to do it with a green team like that in the mud.
No. So as a matter of fact, you could tell that nobody knew what was going on because this match was barely like minutes old before one of them slapped a chin lock on one of the Hardys. Like, it's definitely not time for a chin lock at the beginning of the match, right? So right there. So they go from a chin lock into the house show spot where you do the arm pump and then you're not looking and then you put your own tag team partner's arm in the thing and he hits his own partner with the arm pump. You know, that comedy spot? Yeah. Not the spot for this match, but they did that. So they made these kids look stupid because they're, two big black young guys that look like they would fucking kill these guys, which they would. They would kill them even if they were the nicest guys in the world because they're just so much bigger and stronger, and they would probably like shake their hand and break every bone in Matt Hardy's hand.
That's what kind of blows my mind about this. How do the Hardys not walk and talk these guys through this entire match? Okay, slow down. Let us sell. Let us, post to the crowd. Do your taunt, work the crowd, and then come back.
Yeah. So after they do the comedy spot, then they go back to more chin locks because the Hardys don't want to bump. So somehow you have to get heat on the Hardys, and they don't want to take any bumps. So you don't know how to get heat by not giving me bumps. So you're too green to meat chop.
Dude, oh my fuck, that pisses me off so much. Like, how are you at this level and you can't know how to work heat on veterans without bumping them? How? There's you can work the ropes, work the corner. There's so much, work a hold, so much shit you can do. And they're at this level. Oh my fuck.
Well, they definitely worked a hold. It was a chin lock, but they didn't work any other holds. So yeah. So that's what it is. I understand the Hardys don't need to be bumping all over the place, but you also have
You
these.
can work it without bumping them.
Yeah, you can, but also, why are they in this match? Why is this match even happening? Why'd you book it? If the Hardys don't want to do anything, why'd you book a match? Like, did these guys have heat? Did they want to get, they want to expose? Because the Hardys definitely were not carrying them through this. The Hardys were trying to just like do whatever. They had no interest in anybody else getting over in this match. So, um, you know, so like both these guys for another example of how much the Hardys don't care about them. Matt Hardy gave each of these guys a side effect. So like each one of these guys outweighs Matt Hardy by like 100 pounds, but he's going to give them a side effect each. Then Hardy almost killed somebody on a superplex. I only say somebody because I don't know which one was which. So when he goes up there and he goes to get the guy over, the guy doesn't go all the way over and he almost spikes himself on the coming down on the superplex.
The only time that there should have been any top rope stuff in this match was Jeff Hardy for the Swanton. That's it. And you can work and build to that. If I don't know. How, like, or is In the Mud too green to be able to work a match like this at this point? Like, there's no reason why this shouldn't have been like In the Mud doing just working holds, working the ropes, just getting heat on the Hardys without having to bump them. And then if the Hardys are going over, they work the comeback and then one swanton and that's it. I don't know how you could fuck that formula up.
Oh, well, if you don't know how, go back and rewatch this match, and it'll be a paint by numbers sequence of how to fuck that up. That's the thing. The Hardy Boys, as far as like being good wrestlers, having good psychology, stuff like that, they never did.
That is true.
They just got over. That's it.
To be fair,
because they had other people making them look good the way they were supposed to. Like for these kids, they're supposed to shine these kids up a little bit. Otherwise, why are they there? The Hardys could beat anybody if they just need a win. But I assume that these kids were picked for some reason. And
you could have told a great story of them just working heat, working holds, and just being vicious monster heels. And then somehow the Hardy Boys, by their nature of veterans and knowing the game, they squeak one out and pull out the victory.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get that. We did get the swanton though, like you said. We got a swanton. So then after this abomination of a match, then the Righteous. It turns out it was the Righteous. You know the Righteous. You remember them? The Righteous? Apparently nobody in the crowd did because there was a big "Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?" chant. But I'm curious how these guys got to call themselves the Righteous coming out of AEW and Ring of Honor.
Unless I could see Tony Khan. I could see this Tony Khan doing something like this where the Righteous themselves actually own the copyright and they go to Tony, "Hey, we want to bring this act on your show." "Oh yeah, no problem." Without owning the copyright, without purchasing the copyright to it.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know, but if anybody hasn't seen The Righteous, oh boy, you are in for a... I got to look for somebody to replace me on this show. That's where we're at. If these guys are coming in and they're expected to be on television now,
and we might see a reunion with Elias.
Oh, fuck.
Or Elijah.
Ugh. Gross. Well, anyway. Yeah, it didn't, nothing happened. They just came out and snapped like they normally do. Well, one guy snaps, the other guy just holds his suspenders. It's like they have Vinny the weird Dennis Hopper like hippie like guy with dreadlocks or whatever, and Dutch the fat guy that just holds his suspenders. And there's like some sort of a pseudo religious gimmick here. It's terrible.
I never thought I'd heard the phrase hippie Dennis Hopper uttered before.
Yeah, it's like that. Eric Young does a promo in a stairwell. Then we get AJ Francis versus Leon Slater. You know, no matter what you think of AJ Francis, having that match go on like right ahead of him was like really, really good for him. Because no matter what happened in this match, it couldn't have been as bad as that. So I'll say that. But the YouTube guy came out to help, and there was more shenanigans, and Rich Swann had a chance to get the belt and hit Leon Slater with it, but instead he hit AJ Francis, who's been disrespecting him this whole time, and the ref looks the other way, like she makes the big motion of turning around and like covering her eyes like I didn't see it. And yep. And so AJ gets belted. We get the Swan 450, and Leon Slater retains his X Division Championship. Anything to add there?
How long before BDE is an officially contracted TNA wrestler?
Oh, he probably already signed. We gotta get those YouTube viewers over to AMC, pal.
I'll say the same thing about BDE that I say about iShow Speed. I think there's definitely potential and talent there, but put on some fucking size. Like, put on some fucking size.
This is a guy that literally had a match where every move he did for the first like 15 moves of the match was him leaving his feet.
Right, no, he leaves him hitting somebody or slamming somebody because there's nothing there.
He should do like a flying lockup. Like he should just like dive at the guy like he was doing a suicide dive, but do a collar and elbow when he gets there. I think that'd be good.
Ooh, there was a spot I used to do that, experimented with, where I'd lock up somebody, and then what happened is like they put me into I'd work them into the corner, and then do a thing where I jumped on the corner and then turn it into like a lockup drag.
Oh, lockup drag. Well, you did that, but did you ever wear a turkey suit for like a week?
Nah, that never happened.
Really?
Although I did used to come out to the ring with blue hair, so close enough.
Yeah. Gobbledygooker. little gobbledygooker action. Yeah, Turkey Ryan Nemeth is back. Ryan Ziegler, that is. I should correct myself. He calls out the Tramp Marishade. And he says she hits like a girl. And she does come out. And she does give him a slap and a super kick. And then we just move on to the next thing.
Over under that match ends up being part of the debut live episode on January 15th.
Does under mean it doesn't happen?
Yes.
Yeah, that. They can't be that. They can't be that dumb, can they? This is the last of it, right? This is the end of this feud right here. She sealed it. She sealed it with a super kick. There's no need for a match. Right?
This is TNA.
Please. Please. Okay, fine. Looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event. JDC versus Frankie Kazarian for the TNA Heavyweight Championship.
Twas what it was, and at least the right guy went over. Although it would have been kind of fun to see JDC get a quick run and then drop it back to Kazarian.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get that. We got a ref bump, and we got a chicken wing. And then, yeah, he actually won with a chicken wing. And then the jobbers hit the ring, the NXT jobbers, you know. And then there's a schmoz, and a bunch of wrestlers from TNA came out, and security came back out. And somewhere in all this confusion, Stacks knocked out Santino Marella, his own future father-in-law.
Over under, we get Stacks versus Santino at some point.
Over?
Oh, yeah. Big time over. Big time over.
Do I want to see that? No. Do I want to see Stacks? No. Do I want to see Santino take the international championship from him? Not really.
Here's the thing with that. You don't need a title for that angle. Like, you have real life shit there that you just tell the story off of and just go from there.
Eh. No, give me a belt, pal. I don't know, man. This is just this whole pay-per-view is just a nothing pay-per-view, right? I mean, nothing of any import happened, unless you counted the Righteous, which I don't.
Yeah, that was really the only noteworthy thing out of the show, is Righteous debuting and the continuation of the NXT C roster and trying to invade TNA and make a name for themselves. Well, and Stacks and the whole thing with Triangle, Stacks, Ariana, and Santino, but that's kind of its own bubble.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's that. There was the pre-show. So I forgot about that massive. That was actually the biggest moment. Well, it's actually the C.W. Anderson and Brock Anderson as a tag team is, to me, a lot more interesting than the Righteous.
Get me the son of an OG horseman with an extreme horseman, pal.
Yeah.
Or actually, wasn't C.W. Anderson actually like kayfabe part of the Anderson family?
Yeah, kayfabe. I don't think they were.
Okay, so yeah, storyline as family members, long distance family members teaming up for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, it's something, and that pay-per-view was something, and TNA is something, and AMC just bought themselves 3 years of something. Maybe not Jake something. His contract's coming up, but he may not be in there with the something. He certainly wasn't on this show. He apparently wasn't involved in the Frankie Kazarian thing anymore. I think they dropped that. So who knows what's going on?
Well, the rumor is, at least according to some reports, that the media rights deal netted TNA about $30 million. So what are they going to do with that?
They've never had that much money before. Well, I mean, they have. Like, Anthem has always just had it and just not been giving it to anybody.
But now this is actually a deal with AMC with TNA, so this money goes straight to TNA. What are they going to do with it? If it's me, I'm putting that in production, promotion, and talent and contracts.
They're going to put it into more RGB lights for the backstage segments. $30 million buys a lot of RGB lighting.
Turn on the lights, pal.
It's going to be the brightest, most colorful wrestling program. ever. But I hope we've given you a colorful wrestling program here tonight with the Impact Attack. I think, though, we're running out of steam, and to it's time for this it's time for this train to pull into the station. Yeah.
Whoop,
Guards,
whoop.
more guards. So Brandon, tell the people where they can find you and what you're doing the rest of this week.
Oh, we have a loaded rest of this week. Tomorrow, we got the NXT late start watch along as soon as the A show goes off the air. And then Wednesday, we got the AEW Dynamite watch along a bell count. And then Thursday, TNA Impact followed up with the JCW Lunacy replay watch along. Block Party has become on Thursdays, of course, with the TNA moving to an hour later on January 15th. We're going to be changing it up. I think we're going to change it to a JCW Lunacy late start / replay watch along, like maybe a half an hour after it starts, and then and do that, and then go right into Impact.
Okay.
Which kind of sucks because, like, in a weird way, Lunacy's been better than TNA, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
probably.
That's just me. Speaking for myself here. And then on Friday...
It's hard to get worse than TNA.
And then on Friday, we got the SmackDown watch along and bell count, which is going to... Man, I'm still trying to figure out how we're going to deal with when they go back to 3 hours next month.
Guess I'll die.
Well, yeah. Guess I'll die. I, for one, welcome our new 3-hour alien overlords.
Well, we don't have to worry about it just yet.
Yeah, we still got a ways away for that. And then Saturday, we got the Saturday Night's Main Event watch along, which of course features the final match of John Cena. And then also on that show is AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus Leon Slater and Javon Evans. And then we got Cody Rhodes versus Obafemi and Bayley versus Sol Ruka. So that should be a fun night. And of course, and then Sunday we got HMG After Dark. We're going to go back, since it's the holiday Christmas season, we're going to go back to Sunnyvale, do some Trailer Park Boys Christmas. It was actually a Christmas special they did way back in the day. And then a special Netflix Christmas special, like where it was like they cut between footage that is shot in the on set at the Sunnyvale Trailer Park, as well as an actual live show, which is actually kind of sentimental because like this was actually one of the last live shows that John Dunsworth performed as James Leahy before he passed away a few months later.
I see.
And I will say, though, I was lucky enough to be see one of those shows during that tour at St. Louis, like literally a few days before they recorded that Red Rock show.
Wow.
That was actually one of the craziest things I remember happened. Like I watched that show, I saw the Trailer Park Boys, Randy and Leahy performing. And then, like, no joke, like 1 to 2 weeks later, I get a text message. Hey, John Dunsworth, who plays James Leahy, just passed away. Fuck.
Well, at least you won't have to regret never having seen him live.
For real, like that was one of the first. Like, wow, I'm so glad I got to see him like right before that, or like 2 weeks beforehand.
So where are we at in the week calendar now?
Oh, sorry. We are now
Saturday night's main event.
We did that, and then Sunday's HMG After Dark. I just explained that with the Trailer Park Boys, and now we're back to tonight. Once this goes off the air, probably about 5-10 minutes after this goes off the air, we're going to do the continuation of the HMG Raw Watch Along. Whoop, whoop.
All right. So check that out As for me, Add Opinion Haver everywhere on the shows I'm on and the other shows I tell you to watch. So, for everybody here, for Brandon, I'm the vet, and I don't have a sign off line.